lot of things that happen along the way. Well, you'll find out someday.
That way you could bring it to Monica and Tyler's and get it overnight.
You had a brother, Uncle Eddie. He was something else. You always had to get the last word in.
What's some of your favorite stories?
Oh, I don't know. I think the $5 bet Dale, my husband, made is one dude where I never could figure out what in hell he was making the bet for, because I hadn't even met his mother and brothers and sisters yet. We just barely started going out. The guy next door, I think, I don't know if they were in the same grade, but went to school together. There $5. He'd take me out. Drove right up to the house, and we stepped in that kitchen. It was full of people. Nobody, I didn't know a soul. I didn't know anything about the bet. I was married 2 years or better before I found out about it, because we got in an argument one day telling me about it. Said I cost him $5. I asked him what in the hell he was talking about. Then he proceeded and told me what happened. He lost his $5 bet out of it. Took me right up, collected his bet. They lived right across the way from him. It was a big French family, healthier. I think he run the corner store there, right across the Catholic Church for quite a while. He owned it. He finally gave it up. I don't think he made any more bets after that. I didn't know nothing about it. I had no idea what was going on. I hadn't gotten an argument. I probably never found out. Oh, fool's gold.
Oh boy.
And she went to another place. There was a cave underground. You had to crawl the damn thing to get in it. I wouldn't go. 2 kids went. Susie. There was Susie and Nancy. Roger wouldn't come with us.
Turn off the radio.
The 3 kids were with us. Yeah, Rodney, Susan, and Nancy.
Huh.
Well, they went crawling. She went in head first. And, you couldn't have hired me to crawl under there underground. It was a cave, but you had to crawl in it to go to see what was in it.
Huh.
3 kids went. I didn't go. And there's another place she took us. There's a waterfall way up. You had to climb hell-bent for election to get to the top. I didn't climb that one. All the kids went. She took them up around.
Maybe you do it
that's
today.
in Oregon. They got all kinds of things. Well, see, the snow would slide off the roof, and then we'd have a thaw, and there would be water, and then it'd turn cold, and it was a solid chunk of ice come spring and summer. And my dad, we had a homemade thingamajig to make homemade ice cream, and he'd go out and chop just enough off, and I think he kept it covered with sawdust or something so that it wouldn't thaw out. And the 4th of July was the last he made ice cream out of that chunk of ice. My husband never believed that. He thought I was putting it on, making it up. But I remember because of the date, 4th of July. I was just starting high school. I graduated in 45.
41?
Probably early 40s. Every Sunday we had homemade ice cream. Well, they lived in Middlebury to begin with, and her husband was stationed in Oregon. He liked the country, that's why they moved. Sold her business, she was a beautician. When she got to Oregon, she went on to college and became a teacher. She taught earth science for a long time.
In the state of Oregon?
And they had a book, the kids couldn't make head to tail of it. She rewrote every chapter. They'd come to it so they could understand what in heck they were reading.
Oh.
It was probably written years before that. So she rewrote the book. That's what her mother said. I asked her what a belly button was for one day, and I was probably around 12 years old.
Radio?
What the hell do you think answer she gave me? She gave me an answer, yeah. Well, you'll find out someday. Well, you'll find out someday. I remember my dad dumping a whole pail of cold water over her head. Afterwards, I asked what that was about. Oh, shit, I was to blame for that. That's all I did find out. I don't know what in the hell they were arguing about. Never did find out. You didn't tell me too much. My dad was very easygoing, never got mad. Must have been pretty bad for him to do that. Then my mother comes home, find out his sister was chasing Winnie LaPel.
Oh boy.
Well, Jesus, the shit hit the fan. She tried to break us up. She didn't want me to go with him. Well, Jesus, Dale wasn't to blame what his sister did, but everybody knew it. She thought she was pulling a wool over her mother's eyes. She'd leave her husband was in service. He was a cook in the army.
Yeah.
And she'd go with the family or whoever it is, and then they'd switch off and she'd meet Winnie down the road after she left. She didn't think her mother would know it, but I think probably her mom knew it. Probably somebody came back and told her about it. It used to bother him because she'd jabber in French. He couldn't understand a word. I knew how that felt because in Ludlow, we lived up the road from Polish people, and you think they're talking about you. Blah, 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 blah. That's what it sounds like. I never spoke a word of French after I married him. I lost the ability to speak it. I can understand anybody talks French. I can understand every word, but I lost that know-how how to speak it. When I lived in Addison on the farm, they let me start school before I was of age because they wanted me to learn and understand the English language. I started school about a year before I was supposed to. I had to go to the bathroom one day, and she didn't understand her, and I couldn't make her understand. I know I wet my pants, and I was all wet. The seat was all wet. Probably after that, teacher paid more attention. We were just below the bridge that they blew up there in Lake Champlain Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
My oldest brother and I used to sit by the road with a pad and a pencil and copy the license plates for amusement after the bridge came into view because there was more traffic. One car right after another. There wasn't much traffic before that. I remember we'd sit by the road and did that. And we had a Mrs. Comstock in the 6th grade. There were 6 or 8 of us had to redo the 6th grade. Scream and holler, nobody would ask her for help.
What was her name?
Mrs. Comstock. I don't remember the first name. I remember her last name. I was no good in math because the teacher would get up there with a long stick. 1 and 1 or 2. 2 and 2 or 4. She said I'd come home and put any old number. I never liked math. And the other 3 were good. They didn't learn in math that way. But she had that long, what is it they call that long stick, and that's the way she taught her how math. So I never was good at math. I hated math in school, like a passion. She said I'd come home, put any old number. It was like a song, she said.
Downloading.
I used to stop off at the library and get the medical section. The more I got in there, the more confused I got. Cushion. Now I did the edge. Let's see another towel.
It's almost empty.
Let's take the cushion.
Yeah, just
out.
put it standing up somewhere. Shane, you know better than to do
The edge of
that.
that, good.
Whoa.
The cane is supposed to help people walk, but when you're old, I guess.
There's nothing like it. If I use something else, it's not going to be the same recipe. And I might not turn out so good.
That pen was stationary.
I
so
showed,
the pen moves around a little bit. So I was actually
Ainham
thinking that
what I'd
probably could be
written.
JB well,
Yeah,
but
it was secure to whatever.
Should I describe the
But you know when you wiggle it, it's
shadows
not like it
on the
unplugs,
wall
it plugs
with the
in.
fingers there?
Yeah.
When you plug it in, it's solid. So
Explain what it is.
yeah,
That's
if it
pretty
if it
good.
happens to break, then you might
I
want to
don't
change it a
know.
little bit.
Look at him go, my God. He's
Carrying
doing
books at the
good.
same time is getting
He's pleased with
even more
himself.
talented.
He loves it. Oh boy. I read a lot. I mean,
I think it's actually supposed to be
all my
like that. I
life.
think it came like that new, because I've seen other laptops exactly like that. Some
Mother
make 'em
called
say
me a
tight, some make 'em
bookworm.
loose.
Yeah.
But Dan was saying some.
Did they ever cook salt pork when he was home? And uncle, he went to the doctor's because he was sick. The doctor told him to quit eating, he wouldn't do it, and he died sometime afterwards. Because it was too fat.
Oh, he ate a lot of salt pork. Yeah, that'll do it. It was for his flat athlete's foot or something.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he'd take it out of his shoe. The cat would be waiting for it.
They used to fry it, I think.
Yeah.
And he didn't marry only in his old age. He was an old bachelor when he got married. And his wife used to fry this stuff for him.
Yeah.
And he kind of got sick, went to the doctor's, and when the doctor found out what he was eating, told him he'd have to cut out eating that stuff.
Yeah, you can't eat that stuff.
He wouldn't give it up. So she kept cooking it. The only thing I use it for, you put salt pork in your beans.
Yeah.
Then Bert and Freddie, I think my husband said, his mother had a big barrel of she'd buy cider in the fall and let it turn to vinegar.
Yeah.
Had it in the kitchen, and Bert didn't want it there, so her and Freddie had got down cellar, but it's a wonder they didn't brick the damn thing. It was a wooden barrel, they did get it down cellar. Well, Bertha didn't want it up there in the kitchen. She had it in the corner of her kitchen somewhere. So she talked her brother Fred into helping her get it down cellar. It's a wonder they didn't break it. If they'd ever lost it going downstairs, they would have had stuff all over the cellar floor and no barrel. Well, they got it down there all right. That's what Dale was telling me one day. A lot of things that happen on the way. Yeah, they're all gone. I'm the last of the Hutchins in-laws. Everybody else is gone. She going down to the animals with that?
Oh, do you have chicken in your hand? Yeah.
Must be she's going down to the animals.
She's got to get attacked by a bear one day down there. Showing up with meat like that. Figures to come jumping out of the brook.